Good evening. It is Tuesday, January 27th. This is the Tufton Borough Budget Committee. I'm going to call the meeting to order. We have a quorum. Pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Public input. We have none. Approval of minutes. We have, you got circulated in your package the January 13th minutes.
I saw no issue with those. I'd make a motion to accept January 13th minutes as written.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. So, on chairman and member comments. So we got a look at the warrant articles that have been proposed. Oh,
Right. We do have a set of
sorry, I forgot about that. Yeah,
Same date.
same date.
I didn't see anything wrong with the non-publics of January 13th either, so I'll make a motion to approve as written.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes. Thank you. We got the warrant articles from the selectmen. You got them in your mail. I think it's a slightly revised package that came out now. I also put together a comparison between that. It sort of made more sense to me to look at. And we have a bunch of questions, so I think we'll wait until we get down to item number 12 to go through that.
Hey Rob, just a point of clarification on that sheet. Well, I'll just say this. There's one thing on here I just want to adjust when we get to that point.
Sure.
Just a number that's not inconsequential.
Okay.
Okay.
Great. So why don't we move on to the tabled budgets? Okay, financial administration. I'm doing my report. I actually sent that out, and I took a swag at where we're going to come out on the budget committee votes. So those will probably may or may not be correct, but it's pretty close to, because I wanted it for when we looked at the warrant articles. But one of the things I've got questions on here is the postage is still, there's something wrong with the postage, having a negative amount in year-to-date expense, so revenue of $5,000. So I wouldn't mind, I asked this last time too. And then also we have computer software lease and supports, where we didn't spend, we had a $35,000 budget for that in 2025, and we did not spend 20,000 of that. So I'm wondering why that was. Can we close that door? Just give them, thanks, Audrey. So I think I asked these questions last time too about the postage and the computer software lease and supports. One, the postage being a negative number, year-to-date expense. And so I just like to understand what that is. And then also not having spent 20,000 on computer software lease and supports.
On the postage, we just learned today that we had not been receiving the last couple bills of 2025. They were still being mailed to our old address, so Tammy's remedied that. So that will be reduced by $3,500. it'll still reflect a negative number. And that's what happens when there's big expenditures of postage to other departments, because finance admin absorbs it all. And then once a quarter, there's a journal entry done to move it to the correct department. So depending on timing, there's sometimes a negative, sometimes an overage.
But isn't it just a reallocation?
Yeah, that's all it is.
I don't know how you end up being out of balance.
Because wherever it started, it's almost like we'd have to go back to the beginning of the time. So it's been like that for as long as I've been here.
Okay, so this is going to end up being, well, I guess, is that 3,500 that's coming in going to be allocated to other departments as well?
No, it will not.
I mean, the month of December alone was $3,900 negative. And maybe that's the 3,500.
Yeah, you should see the tax collector postage in December as well, that increased significantly because she would have sent out all her tax bills.
But that's because she did a bunch of mailing in December, right?
Right, but they were done under the first postage account and then moved.
Town clerk postage or tax collector?
Tax collector. So I think that's probably the 3,500 that's coming in still, right? That somehow wasn't
No, she's here.
charged. No, but the 3,500 is probably a December bill. I don't know.
It's October, November, and December.
Yeah, so it probably includes the 2,080, right? That's in the tax collector's postage. And the only reason I'm focused on this because number one, it's fundamental, it's just optically incorrect, and two, it kind of makes us looking at the historical number. Yeah,
No, it's,
that's right. It's right on budget.
it's on budget.
Yeah.
Tax collector is right on budget, so that can't be right.
Okay. Well, I would like this to get taken a look at again. See how we can clean it up. Because obviously, you know, it's wrong. And then what's going on with the computer software lease and supports in the 20,000?
I did not look into that. I apologize. Well, I can take a break and go do that right now.
Okay, I guess the open issues, well, I don't want to approve this budget until I understand what's going on with these numbers. Obviously, $20,000 is a big number on the budget, right?
We can move on.
We're getting down to the why here. And then, so just while we're researching stuff, I also had asked the question on why we were so far off on health insurance, and that was, you were going to go and verify the components of that. I understand one of the components is that one of the police officers came in as a single versus a family.
That's not enough. That's not enough.
No.
That's one person.
And then we also had a person retire, so that dropped.
It's still, that's
So
42 grand.
can we just get can we just get a one-page analysis of the of what the change is between what was budgeted and what actually happened, so we can understand it. It's obviously a big number. It's $42,000.
That's 70 grand right there.
Yeah. And then the other account is the cemeteries, which I never thought I'd ever be talking about. But we have old cemeteries restoration, we didn't spend the money. And then something happened in cornerstones and metal stakes and maybe cemetery improvements. I'm not sure, but maybe there's a misallocation here. Because we got a negative, we overdrawn on one and way underspent on the other. In other words, we spent 4,200 on one, on the cornerstones and metal stakes, and we had a budget for 600. So I think there just must be a misallocation there.
That's similar to planning and zoning. They get charged to the person and the payment goes into revenue and the expense goes into the cemetery budget.
It's in and out.
It is.
But it should be out by now.
I can speak to Old Cemeteries Restoration. The lady who usually does work on headstones and things for us was unable to make it this year due to health issues. So we didn't spend any of that. I should say, the cemetery trustees, I'm only the second, didn't spend any of that money.
Okay. So that's the 9,500. And I'm just wondering with this other issue, it seems to me it's a misallocation between the two
Yeah.
accounts. But that's okay. I'm just worried about it. Just it'd be nice to have it understood. All right. So the things we really need to get our hands around are postage. Under financial administration is postage and computer software lease and supports. And then under personal administration, health insurance.
So we're throwing away the cemetery?
Yeah, I mean, the cemetery, I think Guy just explained the 9,500 and,
We'd like to see what the 4233 is. I mean, it seems that's like a lot of cornerstones and stakes.
but it's probably we'd like to just confirm that's a misallocation, but I'm less worried about it than I am the other two.
So I'm putting it back on.
All right, so moving on to, I guess financial administration is hard for us to move forward because we've got to deal with the 35,000 and why that is 20,000 bucks off. Okay, so I don't know if we're gonna get resolved tonight or we're gonna have to wait until next meeting. Okay, now I think we should go to solid waste,
Or do you want to do personnel? Can we go back
Well-
and visit personnel for a minute?
personnel administration.
Yeah.
Yep,
Can we go back and visit that?
yep, oh, for sure. I was just gonna do it after because most times we think we have to get this resolved before we do personnel.
We do, but this is another resolution
Okay.
that needs to happen for personnel administration.
Sure.
I was looking at this as well. Personnel administration, can we look at the longevity pay line? I have a question about that and a comment. Let's see. The longevity pay, the 2025 budget was 8,900. And I believe, I gotta look at page 2, hold on one second. Yeah, longevity pay, year-to-date's 9,300, the allocated budget was $8,900. I looked at the personnel administration budget for 2025, and, the amounts were in there, for some of the positions, and then there were amounts that were not on there for some of the positions. Back in January 8th, 2024, 3 of the selectmen, Guy Pike, Bob Murray, and Chip Albee, signed an updated personnel policy. And in the personnel policy, it stated that longevity pay would be paid to employees of the town, but it did not apply to elected officials. Be that as it may, on December 29th, there was a query from one of the elected officials of the town, and apparently there was no knowledge, or there was forgottenness of the updated personnel policy that was signed by the selectmen. And nonetheless, the elected officials did receive longevity pay, which is fine. They can choose to violate the personnel policy. That is not a violation of the law. And granted, those elected officials were used to getting it. So the recommendation upon calling the New Hampshire Municipal Association is that you probably should fix your personnel policy. But more importantly, 2 of the elected officials received longevity pay. One of them doesn't even have a line for it in the personnel administration. And the second one is an elected official that shouldn't have taken that pay because they're selectmen, and the selectmen cannot receive money that's not approved by the town voters. And it is theft by unauthorized taking, RSA 637.3, or misuse of funds, RSA 641.7. A call was made to the New Hampshire Municipal Association, a call was made to the New Hampshire Attorney General's office, and a call was made to the to the Carroll County General's office, Attorney General's office, to query and to make sure that this was actually correct. And it is. So I'd say that you guys probably need to go back and you need to see who got paid and who was not approved by the voters to get paid, and you need to fix the problem. And the other person that got it, I'm sure, had absolutely no idea that they were not entitled to that. The longevity pay was there for some of the people, and like I said, that's a violation of policy, not a violation of law. But the selectman that received the money was not entitled to it because the voters did not vote for it. And that could, if it is not remedied immediately, there is justification for an investigation to be done. So I would just make sure that you take care of that problem, because that was illegal. And look at the longevity pay allocated for 2026 and make sure it does fall within the policies and procedures of the personnel pamphlet for Tuftonboro. But we're not voting on it tonight.
We're not voting on personnel policy tonight.
Well, because we don't have the answer for the other stuff.
All right. Okay. Can I also make sure I have, we've had so many sheets of this. What's the final sheet? What's the final total for this? I want to make sure I've been working off the right one.
Which this one are you looking
The
at?
personnel administration, is it the 848, 880?
That's not the one I got, so.
What's
I
your-
have one that's 872.
I got one that's 872, 542.
542.
Yeah,
That's the one I have.
All right, you can,
that's from 27th
27th of,
today.
that's today's
Oh,
one?
no. I don't know when she sent this out.
That was last approved by the select board on the 5th of January.
Okay, thank you. Yep.
All right, so when's our next meeting? Sharon, it's February,
Next
February
Tuesday,
3rd.
The 3rd,
Okay,
as the budget bond hearing is the 10th.
okay. Okay. Moving on to solid waste. I have not had a chance to look at these few sheets that were dropped on. So is somebody gonna walk us through these sheets? Is that what the plan is?
I mean, we've been going over this time and time again. I mean, this is kind of too late, or I don't understand. We've asked for this.
Yeah, plus I don't.
It's not even,
So, are you saying this is irrelevant information?
I'm not saying, I've just got it there.
No, I'm asking Chris.
Oh,
Because I think it was asked at some point that we take a look at, for example, on page 2, the salary of who the last manager was and who the current manager taking over and what was the difference in salary. There was some concern about that. So I think that's what this is trying to suss out, is what the last manager's pay was, what the current manager's pay is, and the difference, of course, being that one has benefits and the other one does not.
Yeah, so can I
Well,
just,
there's more than that. There's
There
hours
is, I
worked.
understand that,
Yeah,
but,
there's
but
a lot more.
that is a good, a sizable chunk, let's put it that way.
so can I tell you something?
Sure.
That this actually, to me, this sheet argues 100% against what you want to argue for.
Okay.
And the reason for that is because if I look at the rate, and if I adjust it to 40 hours,
Yep.
I get back to my other rate. So this sort of looks like backward engineering to me. So I understand that what you're saying is that at the end, the numbers are kind of the same, but when you look at the number of hours, it's very different.
Completely different.
Yeah, so it sort of does, this makes it look worse, actually makes it look like backward engineering.
Okay.
Well, I've actually found it to be very informative and helpful. And that just really, really cements my decision to flat fund this budget this year, because it looks like it works really well. I really thank you guys for putting that out for us.
Backwards engineering.
I'd make a motion to flat fund this budget. Oh, excuse me. Yes, sorry.
I think Chris wants to say something.
I think that I would like to make a proposal to remove $24,665 out of the current proposal of $594,779 to match the year-to-date of $568,124.23.
That was a motion?
Yep.
Second.
Discussion? Can,
Go ahead.
yeah, so I want to, we move fast to the motion. So I wanted to look at what they sent here. And unfortunately, I'm looking at rates that don't agree to what we have. The transportation rates that don't agree, transportation and tipping rates that don't agree to
The contract.
the contract. So, I mean, this is,
And I think we need to vote on that.
yeah. We have a motion on the table. Is there any discussion?
I'm going to withdraw my original motion.
Okay.
I guess I'll have to withdraw my second. then.
Okay. By the way, I'm exactly where you guys are on voting for this. I just want to make sure I've heard everything
Yep.
before we move down that road. So, it would be, I mean, we just got this. It's a pretty big budget. And I'm sitting here, and we've spent a lot of time looking at what these rates are. Guys prepared a ton of paperwork for it before. We've looked at all the things that have happened along the way, and so to be sitting here at the 11th hour trying to figure this out is not, it doesn't seem to me to be where we want to go. I also am not sure how to think about the net. The net cost is kind of irrelevant to me because we get paid money. If somebody's going to charge us to haul our waste that just goes to the dump, and somebody's going to charge us to haul our glass, right, that we get net money on. So I don't really understand why we'd compare a net number to a gross number. to me, the big issue here is that the issue, I think this is a big issue. We violated our own procurement policy in a really significant way. We issued a $1.5 million contract without a competitive bid. And so those facts are really hard to swallow, right? So I think I can see all this. What would really speak to me volumes is a competitive bid. And so I think, if I had my druthers, I'd fund this through March and stop funding it. If there's some way, let me finish, and I want to hear what you have to say. If I had my druthers to do this, I'd try and get the contract set aside by not funding it, by not appropriating for it. But I haven't heard of an elegant path to that yet. Sorry, Bob?
I'm under the understanding that there are only two companies that can handle what we do, Waste Management and Casella.
No.
I've just said I'm under the understanding. Because they're the only people that can haul our trash away and dispose of it. And when this was put out to bid years ago, Casella was much higher than Waste Management.
Well,
Much higher.
even if we had two bids, and even if we put it out for an RFP, and we only got two bids, and the two bids came in, I'd feel very comfortable. But it's really hard to feel comfortable in this situation, yeah.
So, what has happened? Sorry, Brendan, you.
Yeah, okay, I just jumped in for a second. I've run into this issue in the private sector plenty of times. You just do a blind bid. They don't know who they're going against, and they don't know what the number is. So it actually really doesn't matter who they're competing against. But the fact that it's out there puts pressure on them. And typically they come back with a competitive number. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. So, let's just take, for example, the decision to go with the current contract, which there's nothing wrong from a legal perspective on doing it. We have the right to do it. Was it the best decision? Perhaps not. And you brought up a good point. So I'm actually agreeing with you on your point. Bob has offered to create an ad hoc committee to look at this very thing. And I believe he's very sincere about doing it. So it's not like we're trying to not rectify the situation. So I would like to at least have the budget committee realize that is a real topic of conversation.
I totally get it. The issue that is we're sitting here right now in a place where I think there's a lot of people who don't think that the contract was done well, that there are other issues that are going on in the transfer station that need to get addressed, and they want to affect that by adjusting the budget down by some amount so that the pressure is on to make sure we get there.
And that's absolutely within your right.
Right. Brandon, have any thoughts?
An action plan? I mean, yeah, I guess you don't have to give us any action plan or timeline or obviously what you've discussed, but I mean,
Do you want to make a motion?
so we have two issues, right?
Yeah, we're gonna address the second issue
We're
in
gonna address this
non-public.
section, yeah. I'm gonna make a motion to go into a non-public under 91A3A.
Second.
Let's do a roll call vote.
Sawyer, yes.
Cochran, yes.
Goffner, yes?
Pike, yes?
Lawler, yes.
Ryerson, yes. Chris, we're gonna ask you to excuse yourself.
I make a motion to come out of non-public.
A second?
Roll call, all roll call, named.
Sawyer, yes.
Cochran, yes.
Goffner, yes.
Pike, yes?
Lawler, yes.
Ryerson, yes. Okay, we're out of. All right, so I would at this point then entertain a motion to, I'd entertain a motion on the solid waste.
I'd make a motion to approve a solid waste budget of $568,124.
Can I get a second?
I'll second it.
Discussion, how are we gonna allocate that amongst these categories?
I'd leave that to the selectmen.
Okay,
Could I get a motion, please?
The motion was to approve a budget for 4324 solid waste in the amount of $568,124. 568,124, Bob.
which is basically the cost, the level funding to the actual cost of
Yes.
2025.
I'm sure there's enough in the overall budget that the selectmen can certainly make sure it's correct.
I'd hope that they'll drive this down to that number.
And Kevin seconded it.
Yep.
Yep. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Nay?
Sure. Nay.
That's 5-1. Okay. All right, so the other two we're gonna hold off on. All right, I need order to be here. All right, let's go through the money warrant articles.
You wanna
So I,
use your sheet?
yeah, well, we can walk off everything. I was wanting to make sure that we really understood. So Dave, you said that there's a change.
Yep, so if you go, the first column, where it says rescue one emergency vehicle,
Yeah,
that is not 100, it's 200,000. Should be 200,000.
okay, and so what is the thought? So that's what, and then, so are we looking to do that work in 2026?
Yes.
This fully funds the Rescue One being, buying a new chassis,
Yeah,
swapping the body to the new chassis, taking the forestry truck chassis, putting it on the one that we just took the body off of. And that's gonna leave a chassis that is gonna either be sold or we'll find another use for it. But we went through that discussion with the fire department yesterday. The remaining chassis could be sold.
okay, so when you say the 200,000, does that include using the capital reserve fund?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, that's already there, so
Yeah.
that includes using the 80 grand?
Yes.
Right.
Okay,
There will
so,
be a little bit of money left over to carry over to capital reserve fund, because they're predicting $260,000 is what this is going to cost.
So it's slightly overfunded, but it stays in the fund.
But it gives us some money
So-
to carry over to next
keep
year.
funding.
so she
Yeah.
needs to, and she should be in here when we go through this, because we need to be careful how these get so that would basically be it's a $260,000, that's why I changed my sheet, because it's a $260,000 warrant article, right? What's the face value of the warrant article gonna be? 260?
About $260,000, yes.
Okay, so we need to, that's why she needs to change the way she's doing it, because she needs to show the 260, and then 200,000
Funded.
coming from taxation, and 80,000 coming from the capital reserve fund. Yeah, or 60,000 coming from the capital reserve fund.
Yeah.
Okay, so that would be a good change to make. 260, I can make it on her sheet for her here. And then it's taxation is 200,000, and then capital reserve fund is 60. Okay, all right. Were there any other changes from what we saw?
No.
Nope.
Okay, so my pleading fell on deaf ears. So I laid this out, and so what I want to understand is when Audrey has here in the 2025 budget, she shows capital reserve from unassigned, the 220,000 that's coming out of the tax number in the 2025 budget, that 220. Was that amount that you drew out of the unassigned fund balance
Sorry,
to reduce taxes?
Down at the very bottom there, Dave, to the left.
You gotta wait till she gets back.
Right there.
Okay.
220.
So Audrey, on the,
Question is that $220,000 from 25, is that the amount that we took out of the unassigned fund balance to reduce taxes?
No,
No. What was it?
it's,
Did I
all,
read it?
all the different warrant articles that use the
Okay.
unassigned fund balance.
and we haven't double counted that in revenue, right, Audrey, the 2879?
The 2879.
Above, the line above, revenue includes grant.
Correct, that's only the grant money.
Okay, can I, for some reason, I don't have the MS 7 or 534 or 734 or whatever it is for last year. I couldn't find it in my files.
Which one?
MS 434?
No, the one that we do, the one that
737.
yeah, 737, thank you. Yeah, the 737. If I could, not now, but after you can send me a copy of it, because I want to make sure. So this 220 is from the, from basically related to warrant articles. From
Correct.
coming, okay. So when I looked at, Bob, when we had this discussion before, I looked at, and I've got to find my piece of paper, about what we have in the unassigned fund balance. Right, and so I take a look and I said, when we did the letter to DRA to make the application, right? Goodness, gotta find that. There we go. We said in that letter, we said that the
Oh, the unassigned fund balance.
yeah, the unassigned balance was basically 1,765,000. That was after the 220 taken out for the 25 warrant articles, and that included the police station reserve, and then we took out 723. So we have 1,042,000 left before anything happens from capital reserve funds or anything like that. So, when we look at our balance and our unassigned fund balance, we got, no matter how you do the math here, on the it's the same thing. We're either at 20% of the operating budget or 13.5% of total appropriations. So, we're not skinny on our unassigned fund balance.
What was the percent you said from total operations? Because I calculated on the warrant articles.
What was that? I'm sorry.
Oh, I missed your percentages. 'cause you-
I'm reading from the letter, so
Okay.
it's like I haven't done them. But they shouldn't. I mean, they're not going to be that much different.
Yeah,
But so we have 1,042,000
yeah.
on 5 million or 7.6 million, one or the other. So it looks like we're going to be at 5.4 million for our operating budget. So if we got 1 million, that's 20%, right? My math's correct. Like a little at 19%, and then it's going to be, I mean, if you take it off of total appropriations, it's 7.9. On my numbers, it's 7.9 million. So we're still at. So I mean, we're a lot further along than.
When we were looking at this, I thought we were looking at somewhere around 7%.
That's what I understood too.
Yeah.
No.
No.
So
Well, yeah, that is what I understood.
No, I think we're saying it, but that we don't agree on that number.
Yeah, that's what I'm hearing.
So it's 13. It looks like to me it's 13.2%. Either we gave incorrect information in our DRA application, which is going to be really bad, or the 6% is wrong. I'm hoping that it's the 6% that's wrong.
Where did you get the number that it was only 7%?
It's on the MS 434 from DRA. It's their calculation. It's not our calculation.
From when?
From when?
We just got that
September,
as soon
October,
as fall.
Yeah.
Yeah. What is that, the MS 434?
yeah.
What's the number?
I might have a copy of it right here.
Oh, yeah, they don't have the meeting website. Right, because there it is. Right.
Do I need to make copies of this to hand it around?
This is where she has. No, you had a different one with the percentages. Do you have another one? Because in the meeting the other day you had all the percentages.
What's the number on the unassigned fund balance in September?
Is that what you're looking for here?
No, I had it right on the back of my page.
What day was this done? October. So it's looking through that to now.
It's gonna be-
Here's the different voted from fund balance. Yeah, that doesn't have years on it. I think I was just calculating what is. That was that sheet.
Well, I mean,
Let me just see if I can get it.
Okay. I mean, when I look at this, we have this is from the audit, nothing should really have changed
No.
from the audited financial statements
Here's
to MS 535. It's 30,000.
While we wait on that, if I may,
Yeah.
looking at this two sheets, which I can read without magnifying glasses, it looks to me like the selectmen are working in the spirit of the CIP.
Yeah, no, it
And,
does.
I watched the meetings, so I know that that was a bit of contention at times on capital reserve funds and things like that. But I applaud their efforts. Got it.
Agreed.
Now it is.
Agreed.
So I have, I'm not ready to pull out the applause yet. I think it's really good. No, I just think it's really, if you look at what we're talking about here on the total from taxation, and we're looking at 5092, which is what the selectmen would do, and 5174, or another 300,000 if we don't take from the unassigned fund balance,
Right.
we would be, still below last year's tax rate, even though taxes go up because of the appraisals. But the reality is we're basically underfunding what we know we have to fund. So I'm going to give you a classic example: the police cruiser. We've gone from the 40,000 recommended by CIP, which is in those capital reserve tables, which takes the cost of a new cruiser, runs it through and lays them all out and says, well, how much do you have to fund each year to make sure you have enough money to put it in there? And I know right now it's 3 years till we get our next cruise or whatever. It's like, you can take a look. But then we get 111. So I just don't know why we're not funding into those amounts for 20 grand. We can just start. We can build these things up. The same thing for the other. When we look at the fire engine. We're talking about you bring 40,000 in, and we're talking about 92,000. And it just seems to me that every year we push that back. You know, if we push it back for 5 years, and suddenly we have a $250,000 hole versus, or, you know, if we push back this difference of 300,000, we have $1 million hole, which everybody would be much more comfortable if we just built those things up now. We're on such a good roll. Last year's town meeting was so positive on this stuff. I just don't see why we're not going to do it. And by the way, I fundamentally believe I haven't heard one argument that it's not the right thing to do. I haven't heard one argument from one person that says this is not what we should be doing. All I've heard is that, well, the taxpayers may not like it. Well, we're going to tell the taxpayers why we're doing it and why this is happening, because we're saving them pain down the road. And this is very little pain for future benefit.
Well, the-
Fire department's gonna be paid off in 2 years. We'll have a lot more flexibility to increase these amounts once the fire department's note is paid off.
So can I tell you what's coming on with the fire department? Is that Melvin Village and
Mirror Lake.
Mirror Lake are gonna be, there's $1 million in each of those buildings. I'm just telling you right now, before we even bat an eyelid. So we're gonna roll that into new debt or something like that.
Yeah.
But that's coming down
The
next year.
selectmen feel like they're compromising between what the about not increasing the tax rate increasing the tax rate as little as possible, and conforming to the CIP and Budget Committee's requests. We're trying to do both.
We could see that.
Yeah.
And we've made
That's good.
strides in that direction.
We are absolutely solid with the concept of capital reserve funds.
Right. I just wish,
However, we're not gonna do it 100% this year.
but we did, that's what we said last year too, right? Just so we're clear on it.
So
We said the same thing
part of
last year.
the decision, part of what went into the decision, and Bob, please correct me if I'm wrong here, we were unable to make any change with the unassigned fund balance with regard to the tax rate.
Right, which,
We didn't feel that it was prudent to do so because we would be bringing the unassigned fund balance down too low. That was our decision at the time. Going along with that decision, we made decisions about
thanks.
not pulling from the unassigned fund balance in the same vein, because we're trying to maintain that balance.
I'm fine.
Fundamentally, we're on the same page. We made slight differences in opinions to the budget committee, but I mean the spirit is similar, is it not?
Well, we're just so we're clear on this. So the only amount. So I understand. I don't know where we are on the unassigned fund balance, but anyway, I am very happy. I'm really happy you guys did not apply it to reduce tax. I think we pay the taxes that are due in the year they do based on the budget that we all own up, and they get paid in that year, along with the cost of maintaining the $7.5 million worth of town equipment. I think that is, taking money out of the unassigned fund balance, and when we got capital reserves that aren't in place yet, and giving it back to the taxpayer doesn't serve the town well. I think if we have excess reserves, let's put them into our excess unassigned fund balance, let's put them to our capital reserve fund. That's sort of, that just makes perfect logic in the whole thing. I didn't see one. People are going to complain about taxes. It's going to happen.
They always do.
They always do. It's going to
This
happen.
is what it is.
But the people that I heard get up and articulate it at last year's town meeting were all in favor of getting this done in the way that we're doing it. So I think we're shortchanging the vote. And if they don't like it, let them vote it down.
Or raise their hand and make a motion to increase the amount. They can do that too.
Oh, but that's not. They can make a motion to reduce the amount. It's going the wrong way, right, Bob? I mean, that's sort of, they can make a motion to reduce the amount.
They can make a motion to increase the amount.
Yeah, but it's more likely that they're going to make a motion to reduce the amount than they are going to increase, because we're feeding them the thing. I mean, I don't want to, Guy.
I might say,
Here's my number.
taking money from the unassigned fund balance to reduce the tax rate is one thing. When you take money from the unassigned fund balance for example, contingency fund, or to help fund a warrant article, that's also reducing the taxes. It doesn't, you just don't say, we're doing this to reduce the tax rate. You might say, well, we took $200,000 to reduce the tax rate, but this is also doing the same thing.
15%.
So when we're looking at 6.44%, which
Yeah.
is near the bottom,
Right.
that it's just.
I don't see this.
How did they come up with 6.44%?
Because they got general fund operating expenses of 18,486,000, which is not the right number.
That's not the right number. We're not
So
at
the-
6.44% for
Yeah,
our
we're-
unassigned fund balance. That's not a right number. That's not a correct
Yeah,
percentage.
so they got here, this is a bad calc.
Yes, we're not at 6.4%.
So what is good is this probably reflects the number, which, because they got our accounting report that showed the police reserve, capital reserve fund, that as being set aside. So this is the right number. It's very close to the number I calculated. It's 1190 versus 1042.
But
So-
that percentage that
Yeah,
you're
'cause
giving
it's
is
based
not
off-
a correct percentage. So our capital reserve fund is not 6%.
Yeah, the 18,486 is not the right number. It's not our budget. That's what that's based on.
Okay, so we should not be following what DRA gives us.
No, you gotta
You
you gotta,
need to look at it in its full context.
You got an accountant talking here.
yeah, that's what it is. It's based on the 18.
I'm not an accountant. I'm a
Nor am I.
Oh, I am.
We're going by,
But what it is, that number is taking it on that. That's not what your operating budget was.
I understand that.
Yep.
This includes all our state, this includes, the 18 million includes everything that we have to pay, which is the municipal, which is our municipal, our county, our local, and our state education.
Okay.
So it includes all of those things, which we
Right,
could
so
tax separately.
why would they use that 18 million number?
Do I ask them? I don't know, that's wrong.
So if what you just said is true,
Yeah.
right?
It is true.
Those are,
Yeah.
Well, you know, I mean, you can do the math yourself, right? It's 1,094,000 of unassigned fund balance, and we don't pay 18 million. We never had an $18 million warrant, total appropriation.
so,
How
okay.
much is the school?
So,
But we don't responsible, we don't
We're
have the
not
money.
responsible for the
for
school
school.
budget. We only
Okay.
pay our portion, just like every other town
And how
does.
much is our portion?
But we tax that and it goes out. It
We
doesn't.
tax
this,
goes out.
this has been,
Over a million.
as I
Yeah,
understand
that's
it,
cool.
this has been our guide for however long. So what you're telling me, Chris, is that we shouldn't be following DRA guidelines for our unassigned fund balance.
If it's the unassigned fund balance, it's comparative to what we should have. We don't ever pay $18 million a year. We don't. The town as a whole doesn't pay $18 million. So that's not a correct percentage of what we pay out. So that's not correct.
Okay, so we should contact DRA and find out why this is so egregiously calculated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the question is, why are we using that as a benchmark? Is that essentially the question?
Yeah, this is, so
Right, because it's just a benchmark.
this is a benchmark that we as selectmen have been following for as certainly as long as I've been here,
Yeah.
but going back considerably further, as I understand it, right? I'm going with 2 years worth of knowledge.
That's the first time I've seen that, and if somebody else that was an accountant had seen that, would have said, that's not right,
So-
because it's not right.
So to getting back to where we started, right? Getting back to where we started. The reason why we made that decision was based on the 6.44%.
I thought you were thin, right?
We thought we were thin.
Right.
Why we should follow that, I don't know.
Right,
Maybe
but
we should contact DRA
We should.
and say, why is this number what it is? And they can explain it.
So as an example, if you have some large reduction or temporary hike in the education, but for whatever reason, it's gonna completely throw off what you're doing, but it has nothing to do with what we're doing here as a town.
True.
You'll throw the percentage off, and you'll be like, we're way off. No, you're not. That educational piece, we have no purview over that.
So it basically says, please note that the current best practice published by, this is by the Government Finance Officers Association, is that they maintain unrestricted fund balance in their general fund of no less than 2 months of regular general fund operating expenses. So our general fund is 5-something million, right? And 2 months is divided by 12. 5.5 million
Six.
divided by 6 equals.
There you go.
It's 916,000.
And what do we have for
A million.
unassigned fund balance?
A million.
That's
1.2.
So,
Right. 1.2 actually.
I think you're looking at the school from the wrong point of view because it's a cooperative school district. If the school was all in the town, you would be including that number. So for them to include the figure, because we do cut checks for $800 to $1 million monthly to the school.
But
So
that's
that is
collected by
That is
taxes.
an operating.
no, that's collected by
It's not
taxes.
operating.
It's
That's
in
how
and out.
they set the tax rate.
Right.
But so you need to be able to pay that school amount.
Right, but we collect those
We collect
taxes
those
every year.
taxes, and that's paid directly out of the
That's
tax
why
account.
it's in the tax formula, and that's why it's part of the unassigned fund
Yeah,
balance.
so I promise you that we're not responsible for 20%, for 2 months of the school's budget.
Yeah, you
Let's ta-
are.
No, we're not.
Yeah, we have
So
a
then, or then we'd have to
Yeah.
have, then quite frank, then we'd have to have we'd have to have $19 million so we'd have to have 3.6 million to make 2 months. This doesn't make,
How do
3
you
million,
figure that
3.2, because I'm taking the $19 million that they got there, 18 something, dividing it by 6. Right, 3 6s are 18. It's $3 million a year. All we do is we're a pass through.
Why by 6?
Yeah,
Why
but
not by
It's
12?
2 months.
That 18.5 million dollars, that's cumulative. That's everything.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
not just school.
No, it's
That's
county,
everything.
it's county,
Yeah.
it's everything.
But we
County,
don't,
municipal, state,
yeah, but
local.
we're not
But that's
responsible as a
not-
town for keeping that, the school is responsible for keeping an unassigned fund balance. Yeah, they are.
Well, they do have one.
They have
Yeah,
to be
They do.
of
separate.
course they do.
Yes,
It's
They
separate.
can't-
All
they-
these things are separate.
yes.
I mean, so if you're going based upon a benchmark, you can still use these numbers.
Actually, we're not legally required to have a fund balance either.
We're not legally required to have one, but,
It'd be silly not to.
silly not to, yeah.
But there's no law that says we have to, nor is there a law that says the school has to.
But-
The district has to, I mean, they do. But it only makes
The
sense to
fact
have
of the
something.
matter is, you thought you were skinny, you're really not, and that was the philosophy for you.
Right, underfunding.
That is, that
Absolutely.
is, that is where,
So
Yeah.
now,
Yeah,
so
right.
now you're
Rationale.
presented with new information
You can reevaluate it.
that you can
Potentially.
now reevaluate and maybe make some changes and/or not make any changes. But that right there, that right there, that's a 7% difference.
I need to see it laid out.
If-
I'm not
if-
smart enough to follow this, I need to see it laid out.
Well, it's
if you
pretty
guys went back in
basic.
time and took a look at the last 5 years, backed those numbers out and got a new percentage to go by, and then watch that trend line, then you'd be able to really have an accurate depiction about whether or not you're skinny. Maybe you are, maybe you're not.
I would really, so this is just being totally candid. At the end of the day, obviously, we're gonna vote for the capital reserve funds that the selectmen recommend, because we have to, right? I mean, you can't vote against them because what do we really, we want them, we just want more, right? We want more of a good thing, so it's hard to vote against them. But I am going to both in the public here, if we don't get to the place where we need to, I am gonna point out what the deficit is in the public hearing and in the write-up. That we're not following what we should be doing, that we are underfunding, and I don't really understand the reason for it. So, everybody's gonna get to see that letter ahead of time, everybody's gonna see that, like you did last year, gonna see the write-up ahead of time. You can all have your comments provided for, I'm gonna be totally transparent, but that's my view on it. So, I think we've got to get to a place where we're funding these things. Really, I just don't know. We're not like going nuts on taxes here. And then I have a couple of other questions on this while we're going through it. So we need to put in the so the gross amount needs to go in for Rescue One, right? It's gonna go, and I think that's the same thing for SCBA. We need to stick in, I don't know what the total cost of the SCBA is now. It's not 36,000 though, so we need to put in the full amount and then show what's coming from taxation, what's coming from the capital reserve fund. So if you look at the sheet I gave you, I did the 80,000, 48,000 from taxation, and then 32,000 from the grant. But I think that may be less because I saw that there's like 50,000 in the capital reserve fund. So you can probably cut that down to 30.
From 36 to 30?
It's got to be 80, right? I don't know what the SCBA costs right now, but the warrant article has to read for the whole amount that you're gonna expend,
Right.
and
And
then
where
you,
it's coming from.
and then where it's
And
coming
where it's
from.
coming
Yeah.
from, yeah.
So this 36 is wrong. It's got to be 80,000 or whatever the number is. So if you look at the way the CIP one is, that's kind of how it needs to look. I don't know whether I have the right numbers there.
Right.
So I didn't really understand what's going on with the. There's a difference between you're putting money in a reserve or creating a new reserve for the transfer station facility. That was not part of CIP. I'm not sure what that's for.
They have a retaining wall that needs to be rebuilt.
Although that wasn't clear that it actually had to get rebuilt. It was a way just to keep on. I mean, it has to eventually, but I don't.
Well,
It's-
if I may,
Yeah.
I understand it's crumbling.
the Joint Loss Safety Committee has reported this repeatedly, and they feel that is a hazard. It needs to be addressed, that's for sure, but I thought we had a expendable trust fund for this.
So that was my
68,689.
So that was my other question: is why is that not showing up? There was a bunch of things on the trust fund, like why does the transfer station facility ETF? Why is that not included in this, and why can't we take money out of that?
You can.
Is this the sheet that you were given?
We've got that tonight. I got another sheet earlier that I'm working off of.
'Cause that's-
I just got this tonight as we walked in.
Does that ETF is that 68,689? So then,
Correct.
But we're not using it.
Yes, we are. They have made contracts against it. They have made a contract to have the roof repaired and the windows replaced in compactor buildings. Next year, they're looking to heat in the compactor buildings and to build a fund toward the
retaining wall.
retaining wall.
And so what is this?
I believe it's also garage door replacements. So this is adding $25,000 to that fund.
So it's not CRF highway. What's it?
No, it's an expendable, not CRF.
Yeah, it's not CRF trans. That's
That's
why
where
it's
you want to put it, right?
yeah.
Well, that's,
That's just a typo here, that's all.
It's an ETF.
Yeah,
It's an
that's not
ETF.
bad.
So it's adding to the existing 68. That's in there.
Good.
Okay, good.
Yeah, that was just simple.
All right.
Well, yeah, it's all right.
All right. And then I'll just keep going down here. The town was good. Accounting and payroll was good. Engineering committee is good. Code officer vehicle is good. 19 Mile Brook study. What are we going to take money out of the capital reserve fund, the ETF, like we did last year?
No, the warrant article last year used the entire amount plus some from taxation. There'll be no money left in that.
So I'm looking at a balance that says 12,272.
Because they're still working on that report. You won't have it till March or April.
So what I'm seeing here, it says for the balances at the end of December 31st are not the balances that are in these accounts.
It means there could be things that have been contracted that are not expended yet.
and they don't bill us until we get the report, right?
No, they bill us monthly, and then I have to do a form to the trustees for reimbursement.
So what you're saying is this full 12,272 that's in here has been spent?
Yes.
Okay.
It either has been or will be.
So don't you have to appropriate that?
Well, it's an expendable trust. It's not a capital reserve.
But it's an
expendable.
expense that was from 2025.
It's under contract.
But it wasn't.
Yeah, I know.
Okay. Okay, transfer station equipment. So you're putting, what's the 50,000 for? Because the CIP recommended 20. And we already have 143 in there.
I just see our scale compactors, that's what it says.
What's the actual price of
Scale, putting money away for, putting money away for scale and compactor replacement.
So I would ask that, given what's going on in the transfer station, and given all that until we figure out what we really want to do and what money we need, that we hold off on. I mean,
I'm going to disagree with you on that one, because the scale is something that we've needed for a couple of years, and I think Guy would agree with me on this one.
More than
Absolutely, more than couple.
Okay, so.
So this is to get the scale then.
Is to get in that direction at least. So this is, I think the 50,000 is acknowledging that need.
What is, so do we have a price on the scale?
We had one 2 years ago, but it's an old price, I wouldn't go by it anymore.
Yeah.
Do we have,
We don't have a new price.
no.
Ballpark.
Do you have an idea what it was?
108,000, 109,000,
So
something like that.
it could be, it's null and void, that's fine, I just wanted to
Could be
ballpark.
30-40% more.
That's what I'm saying, so we, right now, have $144,000 in that fund.
But that's for the new, that's for the, whatever that thing, piece of equipment we have, backhoe, whatever it is. That's what that's get replaced at some point.
Well, it just says equipment.
No, I
The
know.
scale.
I know, we have to, I know the backhoe needs to get replaced.
Mhm.
Right, but if this money went into that fund, the backhoe could get replaced and still have some money to start working again for
Right.
scale.
And not insignificant amount either.
No, very good, this makes sense to me.
Yeah.
We've been losing money terribly.
I love the idea of a scale. I just thought we had to put it straight up on a warrant.
I would, personally, but that's just me.
Highway facilities. It's good. Highway truck, I don't sort of understand why we're taking out $12,000. Doesn't make any sense to me. Sort of. Really. So, and then the highway, so CIP recommended the highway garage upper pavement. 25 grand.
Say that again?
Yeah, what?
In the CIP report, there's the upper pavement that if you speak to Jim, he says that it's a good disaster. They can't put the truck in there. It's got a hole. It's just a complete mess. They need to repave it so they can level it out so they can access that area. That's where I think they get the salt and, I don't remember the schematics right now, but the salt and sand from the storage there.
Bob,
And the trucks get stuck in there. They actually had a hard time accessing.
So, did we take that up in the paving ETF at all?
We didn't talk about the highway garage at all. Under paving. We just talked about roads.
Well, so, hold on,
We did
Bob.
curb it.
In the paving ETF on this one, if you go all the way to the right, where it says paving major, so the middle line, paving major roads, neighborhood roads, and town facilities.
Right, because we talked
I
about,
thought that's what that town facilities piece was for.
Mhm.
It was under that paving
I would
ETF.
agree with that, but when we were talking about money, we never brought up in conversation monies for paving.
Okay,
This
Talking
is,
about monies, we were just talking about roads.
okay.
so to the point where we're talking, you know, and we're going back and forth, so we look down here at the fire engine payment, it's 200,942, which we, you know, we need that. We need to pay that. But if we funded all our capital reserve funds, we wouldn't be looking at a $200,000 payment for, do we have the truck yet?
No.
We don't have the truck. Our interest rate is high, but to the point that we're trying to make is, this is a big chunk. If we took that $200,942 and allocated that over all these capital reserve and expendable trust funds that we're trying to establish with the mine that you pay as you go and that we have the cash to pay, we wouldn't be in that position because that's a big chunk of change. So, you know, again, taking into account that big number and what we're trying to, you know, what we're all trying to establish, would it be much more palatable and we could move these numbers, because that's a big number.
So is your point that we shouldn't have entered into that loan?
Well, first of all, that loan was entered into without a lot of research. We needed the truck.
So,
But what my point was that after that, the methodology was like, hey, let's start doing these capital reserve to pump up so that we can buy out straight without having to pay interest, because
yes,
that's what it was. I'm not saying that, you know, no, we needed the fire truck, and I get that, but I think to the point where the CIP and the budget committee are pushing is to not underfund these, because that's a big chunk to come up with. You know, that's a big chunk that we're coming up with, when if we had done a little more research, or if we had
So
the
the
cash
fire-
in hand, we wouldn't be paying that kind of money.
right, but the circumstance is what it is.
Right, I'm just saying, I would like to see us not have to come into that circumstance again.
Couldn't agree with you more.
That's
couldn't
my
agree with
point.
you more.
Not-
I think we're
I'm
on the
not-
same
We
I'm
page.
not- I'm just saying that if there would be a way, and we've pointed out a couple of things tonight, where you're now gonna go back and say, oh geez, maybe we're not at 6% on our fund. I'm just trying to encourage that thought process, because I think it would just get us overall to a better place as a town.
I see where you were going.
That's all I was,
Yeah.
we needed the fire truck. I was just pointing that out because that was one that's like, oh, if we had the money, we wouldn't have had to borrow.
Yeah, you're getting no disagreement. We've said over and over again that the CIP is absolutely going in the right direction, and we are
Right.
headed. We as
Right.
selectmen are going in that direction as well. There are slight differences
Right.
based on what we've already said was, you know, perhaps a wrong view of the DRA's look at our undesignated fund balance.
Right.
We're going, the spirit, we're headed. We have slight disagreement because of a decision that we made.
Oh, yeah, no, that's fine.
Can I jump in?
And we made that decision based on the information at hand, and I'm not an accountant, I'm not even gonna pretend to be an accountant.
Come on, Bob, you can
No.
go. You can go there.
I use
Come
TurboTax.
come to the dark side, my friend. Come to the dark side.
So, based on the information that we had, that's the decision that we made. If someone can demonstrate to me in the future, I don't think we're in a position now that we can change our numbers, but
But
next year.
why?
Hold on.
Why?
Next
Oh
year,
my God.
if you guys can demonstrate, anybody can demonstrate to me that we're not as skinny as we think we are, I'll
You got it.
No, you said,
I'll
like,
expand.
well, let's say it comes back and, in fact, there's, you know, you're not as thin. What would be the reason not to change? Because we know the compounding nature of these expenses are gonna lead to a future big bill. Like, why wouldn't you do it now? Like, what would be the reason that you wouldn't
I just think our
reevaluate
backs
that?
are up against the wall, that's all. We're trying to get this done, we're trying to get it
Our
finished.
deadline is what?
I don't know.
You got, this is not, you guys, it's not that. So I think that the voters needed a second look at this. I would rarely, I think we can go to the unassigned fund balance for like 100,000, which is what they're looking at here. out of the whole thing to pull out from these, excluding the contingency fund, 100,000, and then we're talking about, I haven't updated the numbers for what we've actually changed, but a minute change to increase the capital reserves to what was suggested. I mean, it's like nothing. And so why wouldn't we go back to what the formula is? It's so much easier for you guys to justify. This is the formula. We're funding it along the useful life. And that's what we're coming back to, instead of just like an arbitrary number that. So I would ask that you actually, and I'll go work the sheet again, but I'd ask you to take a look at that.
You can demonstrate to me,
I did, it was a million one.
on
that we
paper,
have.
you can demonstrate to me
Yeah,
that we're not as skinny as we think we are.
here's your
I'll
unassigned
take a
balance.
second look at it.
Yeah, it's 1.1190 is your unassigned balance. That number's probably gonna grow just slightly.
Yeah, I hear you.
So
I wanna
say
lay it out.
say it's 1.2.
I'm gonna reconsider it, I wanna lay it out so that I can understand.
It's
I also want to
My feeble
understand,
brain can understand the numbers.
I
I'll
also
sh-
want to understand why the DRA is telling us one thing.
This is not
This
the
is not from the
DRA. This is
DRA.
from a government. This is from a general. It's from the. You go look at this. A Government Finance Officers Association best practices, and they're using that number. So we are not responsible. We tax and deliver directly those taxes for county, local education, and state education. What we're responsible for managing, what you're responsible for managing as selectmen for your budget is 5.5 million. That's the number right there. And you have 1.1 million in reserves to manage that. So you've got 20%. You're way over reserved on it. Now I don't say we go and cut and slash that number. I think we keep trying to add to it and grow it over time. But right now we can make up for some of the loss that we have. I really believe it. I mean, I just think I'd hate to make the decision based on
This
the wrong
is-
fact.
And this is to set your tax rate. This is not saying what the town's fund balance is for the town. This is just to set the tax rate based upon all the components of the school and the county. This is not something specific to the town for the unassigned fund balance comparative to
He
the,
looks it when we get to that.
Yeah, I mean,
No.
I guess the question, but the question, Chris, is why would the DRA even put this in here?
They didn't.
they didn't.
That's not from the DRA.
The title, the front page.
This document is from
Hey,
the DRA.
Hey, David.
Just read it.
David, we know we don't have an $18 million liability. You guys would all be 1,000% nervous to pay out of what we tax for. You know we don't have it. It's like on the face of it, you know you don't have it. We have a $5.5 million
I don't
liability
disagree
net.
with you. I want to understand why they're offering these as guidelines.
Because it's a guideline that's based on something that's not what we're
Arbitrary.
responsible for. I guarantee if you call DRA, why don't we call DRA? I'll get on the phone with you, get on the phone with DRA and ask them how we should think about our unassigned fund balance versus our budget as a town, our municipal budget as a town. Should our unassigned fund balance duplicate the school unassigned fund balance and the county unassigned fund balance and all of those things? I don't think so. I don't think we're responsible for funding their unassigned fund balance. Makes no sense.
So, to be clear,
Yeah,
assuming you're correct, which I have no
Yeah.
reason to believe you're not,
thank you. Sorry, it's getting a little giddy right now.
then
You'll
I
reconsider.
agree. I agree with you.
Okay,
Okay,
yeah.
we made a decision based on one
Yeah.
thing.
And I'm asking you,
We didn't understand the ramifications,
totally get it.
so we played it on the safe side according
Yeah.
to what we knew at the time.
I appreciate it. And Bob told me that the other day, and I knew the number didn't make sense to me at all, because I knew what these percentages were.
So
in my head.
give us a chance as
Okay.
selectmen
Yes,
to digest what we're learning just tonight.
okay,
So that's what I'm asking.
perfect. We're not voting on anything tonight. So it's good. I'd ask that you go back and look at those little balances that we're not adjusted, it's just tiny. So, and I'll clean
I'm
this
not
up.
gonna adjust anything until I understand it.
Right.
I'll adjust this, I'll clean this up, and I'll show you on the bottom, I'll show the calculation that should be happening.
I need to understand it.
Yeah. So, but on a base level, do you understand it?
On the base level I do, but.
Yeah, it's 1.1 million.
You gotta show me the math.
Okay, I'll show you the math. Yeah, I'll show it right on here, and I'll put a big box on it for you. So, we'll get that cleared up. and I got this new sheet. I want to make sure I had nothing else on these, 19 Mile Brook.
Can I just ask a real quick question?
Yeah,
And this is more of a philosophical question. It sounds like you guys were all on the same page,
Can I stay
CIP
this
did a
week?
good job,
This way I
and
can
we
get
should be
back.
funding
Yeah.
this, do
Yeah.
avoid funding.
yeah, we can take it.
We're all in agreement.
Yeah, just scan it to me.
And I have an appreciation for the position that you're in. You don't want to be hiking up taxes to a point where you get a lot of kickback. That being the case, because this is underfunded, and at some point, we're going to have to go back to the taxpayer and ask for additional money. Even though we said we are setting aside these additional accounts to avoid that, how are you going to rectify that in the future? Because it looks like that could be a potentially difficult thing to present to the taxpayer.
Somebody's gotta sell it.
Okay, all right.
I got,
And I'm gonna say that it's, the onus is gonna be on both the selectmen and the budget committee to sell it.
to sell what? Sorry, I was,
These capital reserves.
Yeah.
Funding everything
Funding
as we go.
Funding them at the rate that you wanna fund them at.
They've not said no yet.
So,
It's not just arbitrary though, because there's a study that's been started. yeah.
right,
no,
okay,
it's,
so,
I'm happy, I'm
So-
not gonna be that annoying, but I'm happy to discuss it
Yeah.
at whatever, you know, and I'm
You
happy to
have
speak to anybody.
very capable people sitting at that table with you.
Oh, I know. They can all stand up and talk, yeah.
at some point, I'd like to understand, and it doesn't even need to be now, it can be some other time. I'd like to understand how we're populating the undesignated fund balance at this point.
What do you mean?
Revenue at this point.
So,
It's only revenue, correct?
there's some excess revenues will go into it, yeah.
There's a little bit left over from the budget this year. Not a lot, a little, that's part of it.
Right, but it's an extremely small
Inconsequential, I would
number.
say.
Yeah, inconsequential
You can
number.
call it that.
So,
If it was in my pocketbook, it wouldn't be inconsequential, nor any of ours here.
right,
Mhm.
However, we have income from the transfer station, recovery. For example, that goes into the undesignated fund.
Mhm.
Any kinds of sources of revenue that might come along. Land use taxes, things like that, all goes in there. So in reality, we had $100 and some odd thousand in revenue coming from the transfer station, that went into the unassigned fund balance. That's one example. Anything like that. We sell a piece of property, that goes into the unassigned fund balance. You have to sit down and look at your revenue report and see all that money coming in. I say all that money. And that's where it goes, and that's how we do it, year after year. Some years, we've actually had quite a bit left over in the budget.
right, but
Yeah.
we're,
And those are the years that we used it to reduce the tax rate.
That's right.
right, so at this point, we're getting a lot closer to zero.
We're not, David. Let me tell you why that's not a good statement.
Okay.
Because what we had this year was one event. There were two events, actually. And those events were the, oh my goodness, was the fire truck
Fire truck.
engine and our roads, our road guys.
Yeah.
We also had a major backhoe repair too.
And a major backup. So those three things happened, for which we have a contingency fund, which you guys never used.
We're going to.
We're going to.
Okay, so you could, so that will send more money than done.
We're gonna convert those next week.
Okay, so whatever you're gonna take out of that, we'll send more money down to undesignated fund account.
Right.
There's also, as much as there was this 18,000, which I want to speak about, that we encumbered at the end of the year, that you guys encumbered,
So we're 22.5.
or 22, but there was 16,000 that was encumbered last year, that's in our expenses right now, so those will flush off against that as well. So there's gonna be that money. The police station, my sense is, given where I'm seeing that budget come out, there's gonna be 200,000 left over from that.
No, that would be.
I'd be happy if there was 100.
Okay, but there may be 100, but that's gonna go to the unassigned fund balance.
But we won't know
There's-
until it's done.
Right, there's 100,000 that's, I know, but he's asking the sources of revenue, I'm telling you where they're coming from. There's some money left over in the road paving, warrant articles, that's gonna go to the unassigned fund balance. There's some money that was left over from, I just lost my train of thought, there's one other thing, anyway, but so there are various and sundry sources that does come from.
Cemeteries.
Cemeteries, it'll be, so,
Small, but all
Yeah.
going in, there's so many places.
so I think, I think that ultimately the budget was actually, if you go through the budget from last year, it stands up pretty good to what we did. The actual expenses stand up pretty good to what we did. And there were unusual things, and that's why we have the capital reserve fund. And we fixed, I think, one thing that I would say that we used the same numbers you did last year for highways and roads. Same number, 730,000, that number was understated. And I think we fixed it this year. So, right? I don't think we're off on anything that's, so going back on these capital reserve funds, there's a milfoil eradication, and that's where we took the $8,000 out of, is that correct? That went into the operating account?
No,
So what's that fund for? And how do we use it?
the,
That's complicated.
no, not really. The capital reserve or expendable trust, whichever it is, that's in the event there is a major outbreak and the town needs to react to take care of it.
The milfoil? Are we talking milfoil?
And then there's also a grant, and that pays for approximately 50% of the annual cost of doing the milfoil studies.
So that's this one town 2011 milfoil, that's what I'm talking about, the 48,269? That's with that balance?
We pay 50% of that milfoil grant, but it's,
I don't know what number you're looking at.
it's always after
I'm
the
looking at
fact.
your-
We
I'm
don't
looking
know-
at
We
your-
don't know the number until the following year, so we go with previous year's number for budgeting.
Yeah,
And that's where the 9,000, whatever.
came from.
Came from.
Yeah,
Right.
that's what that's the question I'm asking. So we got 5 or 6 years of that, likely.
That is only for if there's a major outbreak. We don't dip into that for the annual expenses.
So where's the grant that it comes from? Where's the grant? Where is the grant in here? It's gotta be one.
It's not in there. It's not a capital reserve or an ETF. So the revenue goes into revenue from state, and the expenditures go into lower line on the general ledger.
Okay, so we don't use this money then, even though it's the expendable trust,
Correct.
although we just spent $1,200. Looks like.
No, that's income.
Oh, that was income. Okay. All right. How was that on that? I gotta find the one sheet. On the amounts that you guys set aside, gotta find that. Oh my goodness. Sorry. The amount, the money that was set aside at the end of the year. There's like $5,000 or $6,000 that's coming out of there that relates to the, I think maybe either 19 Mile Bay or the Melvin Village boat slip. Has that money been spent? Has that been committed?
We're committed.
We have a contract,
We do have a contract.
and that can't come out of the new expendable trust fund?
No, it was contracted last year.
Okay. All right. Got some piece of paper in front of me right now. There's the agenda. Okay. No, there we go. All right. Okay, we've done that. Anything from the selectmen? Any update?
I think we've been talking about them as we went along this evening, but do you have anything to say?
No, other than,
Oh,
the police station had a slight setback at the police station.
We-
A plow truck hit the building,
Right, that's,
so this is substantial damage to one corner of the building, so that's gonna postpone sheetrocking because we have to have the insurance adjuster come in, take a look at it and then repair it.
Was it a town plow truck?
Yeah.
So do we have
Well,
a-
not that, our
not our
our
town.
road
truck.
agents.
Our road
plow-
agents,
plow
street
truck.
agents, plow.
So whose insurance is?
I'm sure it's gonna come under his insurance, but we have to notify our insurance company first and then they'll
Joy.
manage it from there.
Yeah.
So we have one more meeting on the 3rd of February. When are we gonna get the written warrant articles?
Maybe we can wrap that up next week? Put that in our next select meeting?
Because we need to check with
We
the
don't
last year.
do that. You guys never have to do a work session or,
We were looking at this last night, and so we've got, because we changed our schedule in January to coincide with election day. That gave us a gap between here and here.
right, so we have to have them published by the 5th.
By the 5th
Yeah,
of February?
yeah. So they're what, 80% done?
And so we have to meet this week? Dave's not gonna be here. The second through the,
You have to meet.
Dave's not gonna be here next week. So we have to do another work session this week.
I'm not here.
Then it'll be Chip and I doing it
Next week.
next week. That's the only choice we have. On Monday. You gonna be here Monday?
Should we schedule another meeting between the 3rd and the 10th? I mean, just saying, you know, if we have, 3rd's the last meeting we have on our calendar right now to vote on these. So I'm not sure. You're gonna get you're meeting on Monday, which is
Second,
the 2nd.
that's not gonna be ready.
Well, I guess you guys should think about how you want the timing to work. Because we can't control you or control your timing, but we also need to have a decent amount of time to be able to review these and give comments. And I'm sure
So,
the path has been there will be comments.
if you want us to consider changing any of these dollar amounts, we gotta go back to what I asked you earlier, to convince me that the number that we used is wrong. So you need to get those numbers together and demonstrate that the numbers that we used is wrong, and then I'll reconsider,
You're not talking the number, the percentage.
percentage, whatever.
I think you could do that right now.
It's
Yeah,
very
Right?
but I mean, so it's you agree that our net operating budget is 5.5 million, right?
Yes.
What are you
Well,
shaking your
that's-
head?
yes.
What does that mean? What don't you agree with?
If I'm doing a cash basis forecast, I have to plan on cash to pay the school. So if I had a huge taxpayer not pay their taxes, I need to have in my savings account enough money to cover my cash outlay for the next 2 months. So, although it's taxes coming in and out, none of us have any idea if a couple of major houses burn down with no tax revenue.
Well, a perfect example is this year, we were late getting our tax numbers because somebody held us up.
The school.
The school system held us up. We started the discussion of a TAN,
Yeah,
Of a what?
tax anticipation note. We started that discussion. We didn't have to because the moon, everything aligned.
barely.
Barely, but we started the discussion. And we don't want to have to go to a TAN.
There is there's no way that we have to keep
No.
at 20% or whatever of the school, county, and state
Obligation.
obligation.
That's
It's just
that's
not,
how
it's not.
That's not how it's done. That's our,
So, hey Audrey, I know you're smiling.
I know, because I've done this in multiple towns.
Okay, and you said you've done a lot of other things.
I'm not gonna agree with you.
well, the number's wrong, so it doesn't matter.
So you're going on the simple numbers, $5.5 million operating budget versus a $1.1 million.
Yeah, that's what our responsibility is for. How much wrong can we be? What can happen?
Plus warrant articles.
And what you're just
And
trying to
that'll bring it
figure
up
out
to about a million.
is the trend. You're
And-
trying to figure out if that trend is going up or down over time.
And we have the revenues, and we also have revenues that
No,
offset that. so-
I'm not looking at the trend, I'm looking to see if we have the recommended amount, cash on hand, that the DRA says that we should have, based on our budget, or budget expenses, however it's laid out.
Call the Tom.
Which I don't understand why, is on the very last page of this, fund balance retention guidelines. So it's black and white to me here. They're using one formula, you're using another. That's what it comes down to, which one is right? I need to know why.
Okay.
It's,
And I'll reconsider, but I need to be convinced.
I think, so I'm gonna push back. I think you also need to figure out what the right number is too. It's not the budget committee's sole responsibility to do this. I think you also need to figure out what the right answer is. And we've always used, quite frankly, we sent that letter out, which we all signed, that said those were the percentages.
and
so
DRA agreed,
And DRA didn't push back on that.
so.
So, if we were truly at 6.6%, they would never let us take that money out. Just saying.
The letter that went
I
out
can't
in
disagree.
The letter that went out in October, and if you read this, all this is a reference range. It doesn't say that that's what it is. This is all as a guide, which is not accurate because it's not reflecting what our true operating budget is. And to Rob's point, DRA would not have let you do what you did with the police station if we were at 6%. We were at 22%?
Yeah.
22%. So who's wrong now?
Yeah.
I think the RA's decision was based on the fact that the auditors had never put that money in the unassigned fund balance.
We don't know that. We had the numbers. They would have come back with us if the numbers were not correct. If the calculation wasn't correct, the DRA would have looked at that.
Time will tell.
Rob, did you have any question on that health insurance?
No, I think it's good. We can just send this out to everybody.
And I looked at the computer software, the financial software for Harris, the 2025 amount was paid in 2024. And the postage had a positive balance of $3,000 approximately at the end of 2024.
So here you go. ChatGPT. Okay. New Hampshire Department of Revenue does not publish a hard percentage rule, but it's practice they consistently view 5 to 10% of the town's annual operating budget as a healthy and adequate range. Below 5%, DRA concern flags. 5 to 10% considered prudent and responsible. Above 10 to 12%, DRA may ask why. Importantly, DRA is focused on liquidity and risk management, not stockpiling money. What budget does the percentage apply to? DRA looks at the town operating budget only. General fund expenditures excludes enterprise funds, etc. DRA does not expect the unassigned fund balance to scale with school operating budgets, school capital budgets, county taxes, state education, village districts, or special districts. Even though Tufton Borough collects taxes for the school district, that money is not town money and does not increase the level of fund balance DRA expects the town to hold. I'll send this to you.
Thank you.
Okay. Can we, can I get a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.